After a very, very disappointing Royal Rumble pay-per-view on Saturday, WWE now looks towards the next roadblock on the road to WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship on Saturday at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And so, with all that being said, what does he have to do now? The Elimination Chamber. Bobby Lashley will defend that WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber, and tonight, WWE held qualifying matches to determine the other 5 competitors in said chamber. Plus, Brock Lesnar and Rowdy Ronda Rousey returned to Raw, and that was our show. This is the best place and the only place you need to be on your Monday night. This is the Monday Night Raw post-show review right here on Outside the Brand. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for your Monday Night Raw post-show review for your January 31st, 2022. I am your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and the road to WrestleMania is officially underway. And with that disappointing of a pay-per-view we had on Saturday with the Royal Rumble, WWE has another pay-per-view in about 3 weeks known as the Elimination Chamber. Earlier on today on social media, WWE announced that Bobby Lashley will be defending that WWE Championship that he won against Brock Lesnar at the pay-per-view inside the Elimination Chamber. And they also announced that there were going to be qualifying matches on the show tonight to determine the other 5 competitors to see who Lashley would have to face in Saudi Arabia. 3 qualifying matches happened tonight on the show. 2 people were just announced to be a part of it. But all that being said, we had those matches take place tonight. Also, Ronda Rousey, the Women's Royal Rumble winner, returned tonight on Monday Night Raw, which I believe was the first time on Raw in about 3 years or so. So that was going to be something special that WWE obviously had to build up towards. Also, she had a little bit of an interesting segment with the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. As you know, she has to pick either Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, or the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch for her match at WrestleMania. But a very special surprise, in which I think we are all very excited about, took place during that segment. She came back, and it was absolutely fantastic to see her back on Monday Night Raw. We got my boy Loff here. We're going to let him talk in just a little bit, but I do want to give you guys a quick little rundown of our selling out, so to speak. Here we are. We are here for the Monday Night Raw post show, but what I want you guys to do is follow all of us on social media. All of our TikTok links are down in the description below, and you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PhillyMatt_. Continue to hit that subscribe button down below as we are on the road to 400 subscribers. We're on the road to 500 technically, and we'd love to be there by WrestleMania. But last time I checked, we're on subscriber like 345 right now, which is absolutely great. So let's continue that road to 400 so we can get to 500 by WrestleMania. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. Let's get this video to 10 likes on the stream tonight. Make sure to go to bonfire.com, the official place of Outside the Brand merchandise, and that's the only place where you can grab Outside the Brand merchandise. All the merch for the store will be on the OTB Bonfire shop very, very soon. So when that shop is live, we will let you guys know. And finally, before we get started, I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support you guys have shown here on the podcast. We continue to grow each and every single day, and we could not do this without all of you. Thank you so much. Loff, let's talk Raw. What the heck happened tonight? I'm not mad.
Bro, tonight was actually a freaking enjoyable episode of Raw. I feel like we haven't got one of those since 2009, so I'm very happy this show actually made me happy at the end of it, because usually I feel deflated and tired and exhausted. But I almost got there. Thank God a certain person came out, because I was about to lose it. But thank God a certain person came out and definitely helped the end segment of the show.
Oh yeah.
The matches were cool. The segments were cool, I guess. I mean, I don't have anything to complain about, really,
Yeah.
except for Carmella. I don't like Carmella. But
Oh
I mean,
yeah. That Carmella stuff was pretty
yeah.
bad, and the crowd was pretty dead for that match too.
It's so boring. It's so boring.
We will definitely talk about that match, mainly because I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but I don't know if the crowd is really all that um into Bianca Belair that much anymore. And there are obviously a lot of contributions to that. We know the reasonings behind her booking and everything like that, and how things kind of, snowballed out of control with her and her booking. But we will definitely go over everything when it comes to that whole situation with Carmella, Bianca Belair, and many other women on this roster. But yeah, there was actually not that bad of a show tonight. And the thing is, like you said, if that person did not show up in that final segment before Raw went off the air, I don't know. Raw would have left a bad taste in my mouth, at least for that last segment, because the rest of the show was honestly not that bad. We actually had some questions answered.
Yeah, man. I mean, the highlight of my night was definitely freaking AJ and Ray, because that was beautiful.
That was a great match.
And it was a qualifying match. So it was like,
yeah.
I've been waiting for qualifying matches for I don't know how long. We just get people thrown into the match, which happened tonight. But at the same time, they actually put some effort into qualifying.
We need this for Money in the Bank next year. Do qualifying matches for Money in the Bank.
Please. I need this trend to continue. Whatever they do with Roman on SmackDown, if you end up doing the chamber with him, but it's just like a number one contender kind of chamber, qualifying matches, please. I know there's not a lot of people on the roster, but please just make some, throw Cesaro and Ricochet in there or something. Like just give me some qualifying matches and some finishes that actually make sense.
Yeah.
Some matches that actually make sense. You're not just throwing impromptu matches out there. You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, man, my low light again was Bianca and Carmella. Bianca I love, but I feel like the whole Becky Lynch thing has really derailed her momentum, and I don't think it's over, but she's gonna need something huge to get her back. A Rumble win would have been that huge thing, but she didn't get that. But yeah,
she was it said on the graphic tonight that for the third year in a row, she was pretty much the Iron Woman of the Royal Rumble. She lasted the longest out of everybody, and that's the third year in a row.
It goes to show how one night or one bad booking decision can really derail someone's character. Now, the greatest thing about it is that I think Bianca has a lot of time left, so she is not like over for her, but she's gonna need a big win at like a Chamber or maybe a WrestleMania to get her back on top. I don't want her to get back to where she was and the crowd not reciprocate the right way. And I was told that SummerSlam was supposed to be not that bad because of the whole thing that apparently Bianca was supposed to come back around and beat Becky. So if we're gonna do that, we do it at WrestleMania. But I don't know, man.
Here's what I have an issue with. If we are legitimately gonna get Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, which is most likely going to be the match right now because that is what's being reported. The second Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia would have to be for the women, and it would have to crown the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship, depending on what that is. Now, I feel like Bianca Belair would obviously be a shoo-in for that Elimination Chamber. And we all know, okay, we're not gonna hide it anymore. Lita returned tonight on Raw, and she challenged Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship in Saudi Arabia at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Depending on who wins that match, the Elimination Chamber would have to determine the qualifier, determine who can face Becky or Lita, this instance, at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. If Ronda does pick Charlotte. I don't know who else is going to be in there other than Bianca Belair that's going to be a credible person to win it. I mean, you have like Liv Morgan, and you can have like Liv Morgan in there. You can have who else? See, this is a problem, Woff. This is a problem. I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, Queen Zelina, I guess.
Zelina, Carmella. I mean, Tamina's there too.
Tamina.
But like that's a problem right there. If I can't legitimately think of anybody else besides either Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair, that's a problem. And that we'd have to figure out who would face either Lita or Becky Lynch at WrestleMania in that elimination chamber for the women, because there's going to have to be one for the women. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. There's only 3 weeks and technically 2 more Raws now before the Elimination Chamber. So if we're going to have an Elimination Chamber for the women, you got to book it now.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. We got 2 more Raws, 3 more SmackDowns, and we'll figure things out from there, because the Elimination Chamber is on February 19th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll figure that out as we go along. If it is going to be Ronda versus Charlotte, if it's going to be Becky, I mean, let's just say it hypothetically speaking, if it's going to be Becky versus Bianca at WrestleMania, there's so much WWE can go wrong with that, but there's also so much they can go right. Like, it can be such a sticky situation. We're just gonna have to figure out. That's the thing I hate about the road to WrestleMania, because we just have to sit there and wait. And I know this pretty much every single pay-per-view and every single build-up, but the road to WrestleMania can be such an amazing ride at times, and then just because you honestly can't control things, you just have to just see what WWE throws at you.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. They might have Charlotte defend the title inside. If they have Charlotte defend the title inside the Elimination Chamber too, just like Brock, that could go a totally different direction as well. And honestly, when it comes to the SmackDown roster, I honestly can't even think of people that could actually be legitimate contenders for that championship either. Because the SmackDown roster, when it comes to that, is just absolute doo-doo, unless you're talking about Sasha Banks.
Pretty much.
So I don't know. It's going to be a sticky situation when it comes to the women of WWE. And again, it's WWE's fault for letting go all these people, and now at the end of it all, we just have to wait and see. And I hate that term, wait and see, but it's WWE. That's their like bread and butter.
Yeah, man. I hate hearing wait and see anywhere now, because it's just like testing me to just every time I wait, and I just get disappointed. So I mean,
I know we talked about that on the Royal Rumble post show, is like the whole like wait and see or and all that. And it's like nobody can tell me to wait and see ever again, because look what happened. Yeah. But it's just what we have to do at this point, because there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, that's just our little discussion about just things going on right now in WWE. If you want us to actually do more discussion, you guys can tune in to us tomorrow on Tuesday's Talk. I don't know if we're going to have Anthony on. I don't know if we're going to have Suplex on, but I do know we are going to have one of our very, very good OTB supporters on the podcast. He goes by after I scroll through so many Instagram messages. Darren Atkins is going to be joining us on the podcast. He's been a very, very loyal supporter of the Outside the Brand podcast, and he will be on the show tomorrow, just talking some good old wrestling when it comes to AEW, WWE, what have you. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get into the Raw review in just a little bit. But guys, I want to make an announcement, and I know, Loff, I already told you guys this. I already told everybody in the actual chat about everybody in our OTB chat about it. But Loff, I'm heading home.
He's going home.
I'm heading home. I am going to AEW on February 23rd. It's happening in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It's happening at the Webster Bank Arena. It's going to be so much fun, man. This is my second AEW event, and I cannot wait to see what's in store. We got some good seats. Good seats that we can afford at the time. And man, it's going to be a lot of fun. February 23rd at the Webster Bank Arena, Wednesday. Dynamite, baby. It's Dynamite. My second ever show for those guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Don't worry, guys. There's going to be some content there, too. Don't worry. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can probably do a review for OTB and that Dynamite on Thursday if everybody is down for that. But yeah, you got an extra ticket? I do not, sadly. Trust me, getting 2 tickets was already enough that I could pay for at the time. And I'm going with a very, very good friend of mine. He actually went to Grand Slam with me. Took the drive all the way to New York just to get there, but this one is not that bad. We're in Connecticut. He's in Danbury. No, he's in Southington rather. And yeah, we're all good, ready to go. It's gonna be a good time. Dynamite, baby, February 23rd at the Webster Bank Arena. It's gonna be so much fun. If any of you guys are going, which I don't know where any of y'all go or y'all living at, but I told everybody on the TikTok that I'm going to be releasing soon about my journey to Webster Bank Arena. That if any of y'all are going to be there, don't be afraid to say hi. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to AEW events or just going to wrestling events in general is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it. I'm heading home, Love. It's going to be so much fun. I get to see Britt Baker. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Tony, come on. I know you hear this.
Hopefully.
Let me get backstage, Tony.
Oh my God.
I need to. Let me get backstage. Let me get to the post-show scrum, the post-show media scrum.
Oh man,
dude! Imagine if I just showed up on the post media scrum on their YouTube channel. Phil from Outside the Brand here. Tony, would you sign me to AEW? Nah. Okay.
Oh my God.
It's Raw.
Look. Great.
All right, guys. Enough messing around. It's time to talk Monday Night Raw tonight. Then, we kick things off with Adam Pearce. And I was like, oh no, Adam Pearce, the man that blocked me on Twitter, starts off the show. But he's here, and he says that after a very exciting Royal Rumble pay-per-view, right then I knew he messed up. He said, listen, Bobby Lashley is now going to be defending he defeated Brock Lesnar to become the WWE champion, and Lesnar then entered the Rumble at number 30 and won, which he'll now get a championship shot at WrestleMania. Adam Pearce is in the ring, and he welcomes us to the show. He says that Ronda Rousey will be here on the show tonight for the first time in 3 years, as well as Brock Lesnar, who will choose his WrestleMania opponent. Before that, Bobby Lashley will defend the WWE title inside the Elimination Chamber at Saudi Arabia in less than 3 weeks. Before Pearce can continue, he was interrupted by the man himself, Bobby Lashley, the WWE champion. The almighty WWE champion comes to the ring, and MVP complains to Pearce and says that Bobby Lashley went through hell. He said last night, but he really meant Saturday night, to become the WWE champion, and now he has to defend it against 5 other men in one of the most brutal matches in WWE history. That's bullshit. Lashley then piles on and says that he should be out celebrating. So who the hell does Pearce think he is? Lashley says that he already knew that he was that he was the better man. He's a better athlete. He's a better fighter, and he can beat Brock Lesnar in the middle of the ring whenever he wants to do so. So who is the beast now? Who is the champion now? Brock Lesnar's music hits, and the beast comes out wearing his ring gear, which was honestly kind of shocking to me. I wanted to see him in jeans and a flannel shirt.
Me too.
I mean, it's we call him Jeans for a reason. We call him Cowboy Brock for a reason. It's just he didn't come out as cowboy. He came out as, big boy, Fire Brock.
Yeah.
And and his music hits. He's wearing his ring gear. Brock walks to the ring with a grin on his face and does a lap before getting inside. And Brock takes the microphone from Pearce and tells MVP to shut up or he'll shove that cane right up his ass. Brock asks if Lashley is going to stand there and pretend that he won the championship fair and square. From one athlete to another, where's your pride at? He only won the championship because of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Brock isn't mad at Lashley. He even gives him kudos for their match. He lost it, but he entered the Rumble anyway and won the Rumble. And so he gets to choose his opponent for WrestleMania. But Bobby, don't worry. It's not going to be you because I choose Roman Reigns. So there you go. They weren't going to milk Brock Lesnar's choice for his Rumble opponent at all. He just chose Roman Reigns as soon as he won the Rumble. That I can actually respect because of the story that they're trying to go for here.
Yeah, no surprise here.
So he chooses Roman Reigns. However, it does concern Bobby in some ways because at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns will be title for title. They're not hiding it, dude. They're not hiding it. Or at least they don't want to hide it. Like, they want us to think that it's going to be title for title. And honestly, with the way they're saying it, it's going to be title for title.
I'm scared. I don't know.
You're not into the whole title for title thing?
I'm not. I know where this leads, and I don't want to. I know exactly where this leads.
You want to elaborate on that?
Roman Reigns being both.
Well, yes. Yeah. That's exactly it.
That's my thing. I told everyone a lot today. You have this match, Brock and Roman, for the 450th time, and 9 times out of 10, Roman Reigns wins. Now, Roman Reigns having both belts, while they may look cool for the moment, for the little picture at the end of WrestleMania, I don't think the 2 belts pushes Roman Reigns higher I don't think it makes him any worse of a wrestler. I think it just makes him plateau because they already have him as Universal Champion, and he's already the end all be all for everything. He doesn't lose, and even when he loses, he wins. So it's like giving him both belts isn't going to catapult him higher. He's already at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not going to really. I don't think it's going to benefit him most. I think it's just going to make him that much more insufferable to the people who don't like him, like me. But it's just like I think the whole title unification thing is not a bad idea, but I think it should be given to someone who actually needs the power that Roman Reigns has. Because if he has both belts, it's not going to make him any more of a tribal chief or head of more tables. He's still the same guy, you know.
And what is it gonna be like the whole Becky Lynch holding both championships things, or we're gonna have to see Roman Reigns defend both titles on the same night every single pay-per-view, and then what happens then? Who's gonna? Nobody's gonna get over, and it's just gonna be Roman and Roman and Roman and Roman and Roman. So I do see your point there. Yeah. And the thing is, though, like if you're going to have somebody hold both championships, first of all, that leaves a world championship off your show, depending on the brand split purposes. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do a title for title, just end the brand split at that point and have anybody go over against Roman. Just end the brand split at that point.
That's why.
But I don't know if that's gonna even help.
No, they have to wait to pull it. They have to wait to pull the trigger, and I think you should do it right before WrestleMania, because if you do it the night of night 2, and Roman Reigns comes out on Raw with both belts, it's already going to be assumed that the brand split is over because he's on both shows. First of all, he's pulling double duty now because now he's on both shows. Yeah. He doesn't really take that much time off, so you have that also. And eventually, you're just on a downward slope with Roman. You're not going to go anywhere higher because he's already at the highest point he can go right now. He beat so many people, and the only people left to beat are people that we're not even thinking of, or people that we know he's going to because they don't care about. So giving him both belts it's just going to stagnate him even more, and you're going to just running out of content. Now, I think they're running dry with content now. That's why we're seeing Brock Lesnar for the 14th millionth time. You know,
I'm surprised we haven't seen Drew yet for him.
Yeah, that's gonna come eventually too.
That's gonna come too. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just it's not making anything better. It's just making this whole.
We might actually see Drew at the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it's just everything's getting boring. Everything's getting boring and predictable, just like the Royal Rumble, how boring and predictable that was. This is just going to be even worse if he ends up winning both belts. So
I can totally see your point now. I just wanted you to elaborate on that so I can actually, get where your head's at. But but yeah, I could totally see where that point is now. So like he said, Bobby doesn't have to worry because it's not going to be him because he's choosing Roman Reigns. However, it does concern Bobby in a way because at WrestleMania, he wants the championship, so he's going to be title for title. Brock, he said he's dressed up to fight, so he's asking for a rematch right now. Obviously, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar got heated. Lashley is down and says that he can beat him whenever the heck he wants to. MVP tries to calm him down and talk him out of it, and tells Brock Lesnar that he has to go back. He has to go to the back of the line. And Lesnar shouts out Lashley, saying that he's a chicken shit, which was great, but they muted it out, obvious reasons, because it's USA Network. And Lashley goes absolutely nuts. He's like, you did not just say what I think you just said right now.
It's like his limit.
Yeah, like he was going hard. He was just going nuts there. But MVP and Pierce keep trying to talk him down. Lashley gets out of the ring and leaves with MVP. But Adam Pearce then announced that Brock Lesnar will be in the Elimination Chamber match against Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar gets the Brock Lesnar treatment. He gets inside the Elimination Chamber without having to do anything. This is technically his rematch clause. He cashes it in inside the Elimination Chamber. But I remember all those years ago, there's supposed to be no such thing as rematch clauses. But I mean that was so long ago that WWE doesn't even give a shit about what they say anymore. All those years ago, so rematch clause, boom. That's what happens.
I mean, they throw Brock Lesnar into everything they can until he leaves again. So I wasn't really surprised. I would have liked to see him in the qualifying match because he already had his ring gear on.
Yeah.
They had me screaming at my TV because I really wanted Brock and Bobby to fight for the championship right there.
You should have heard me. You should have heard me when I was on. I was like, "Do it, Pierce. Make the match. Make it. I don't even care if Bobby Lashley has a less than a day title reign. Make it, because I know it was going to be title for title."
Yeah, I freaking told Batista, "Give me what I want."
Give me what I want.
Screaming at the TV, but he did not give me what I want. So
now he blocked me on Twitter, so he'll never give me what I want until he figures out that I was not being a bad guy.
I like you.
Just because I call you the general manager of Raw and SmackDown, which you are, does not mean I'm a bad guy. We come back from commercial break, and we still do not know who will join Brock Lesnar inside the Elimination Chamber, but we will know because of two qualifying matches that will happen later on tonight. AJ Styles will go one-on-one with Rey Mysterio, which actually happened to be the main event of the show tonight, and then Kevin Owens will face Austin Theory. The first match kicked off the show tonight, and it was Rhea Ripley taking on Nikki A.S.H, or I should say T-R-A-S-H. Haven't we seen this already?
No, they tried to do it, but somehow, some way, it didn't happen. So they booked it like 4 times, but I think this is the first time it actually went through.
Okay. I knew they tried to do it out already, but I guess, like you said, this is the first time they actually had the match. Pretty decent match for what it was. We had Ronda not Ronda. Wow, Ronda's on the brain, guys. Trust me. There's some things going on with Ronda Rousey right now when it comes to the Royal Rumble. We just all got to talk about later on down in the show. Rhea connects with a dropkick and then a Northern Lights suplex for a near fall. Ripley then puts Nikki on the top rope, but A.S.H kicks her back and hits a tornado DDT for a near fall. Nikki then wants a swinging neck breaker, but Ripley counters it into a riptide for the win. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley gets the pinfall victory over Nikki A.S.H. And Rhea Ripley had a decent showing, I will say, in the Women's Royal Rumble, but this right here was a desperately needed win for Rhea Ripley on the road to WrestleMania. If you're going to have an Elimination Chamber, possibly for the women, let's get Rhea Ripley up in there. Or something of that nature, if we're going to have an Elimination Chamber for anything, women. Rhea Ripley needs something.
She needs Jesus. That's what she needs.
Well, that's true too, but
booking is not going to help her at this point because they're just going to book her with Nikki A.S for 3 more weeks. I bet you she has a rematch for the next week. I bet you.
Probably. And Nikki's going to find some way to say that she either cheated or something of that nature, and we'll have a rematch.
And Nikki's going to win, and then we're going to push this all the way. I don't think this thing is going to be done by WrestleMania time. I think they're still going to be doing this.
Oh, God.
I don't know if it leads to Nikki taking off the superhero suit, but I mean...
First of all, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
She needs to get rid of this gimmick right now.
Yeah.
She's been needing to get rid of this gimmick for a while.
I don't know. You gotta do something quick.
Yeah, so we see a replay of the spelling bee between RK Bro and the Alpha Academy on last week's episode of Raw. Riddle and Chad Gable are backstage on their scooters as they get ready for the second challenge, which is a scooter race. Gable says that it's a disgrace that the Alpha Academy have to compete in a scooter race that is a part of an academic challenge. Gable says that the spelling bee was rigged by Kevin Patrick with his stupid accent, and Patrick then explains the rules to both of them as they have to do 50 laps around the arena, and the first man to cross the finish line that's near ringside wins the challenge. So Gable says that he has a specific outfit thanks to some of his Olympic friends, and R-Truth then appears to wave the flag to start the race. 50 laps around the arena, Loft.
It's a lot of laps.
Well, 50 laps? What the hell are you doing?
Racing.
And then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, they're on lap 25. I'm like, how? How?
They're racing for 3 hours, so I mean.
And then all of a sudden, we come back from a commercial break one time, and we guessed, and like I was asking my chat and in my live, saying, all right, guys, what's gonna be the lap number when we come back from commercial break? Because I know they're gonna cut right to the scooter race. Everybody was saying different numbers, but the closest I got was 36. And when he came back from that commercial break, it was 39. I'm like, man, you are so close, so close.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, they started the scooter race like 10 minutes later. We were on lap 25, and I was like, okay, that can't be happening. You either have to be like on some supersonic scooters, or they're just standing there until they have to go to like the actual next spot for their segment. It looked really. It's a comedy part of the show.
Yeah.
That's all this is. That's all this entire 3-part challenge thing is. It's just for comedy.
I think next week is gonna be funny. This week was just
especially with the people that they chose for this. But I really wanted Otis and Gable to be different, man. I wanted them to be taken seriously as tag team champions, but first of all, I have to remember that this is WWE.
Yeah.
So there's that problem. But man, I just really wanted something to be different. Not saying that this is not different. I mean, whoever thought that we would have a scooter race on Raw, but but yeah, I don't know. Just want something different, maybe.
I do love what they did with Otis. I remember I hated what they were doing with him when he was in Heavy Machinery, because he was just jumping around with Andy Rose and just saying words that weren't English.
Yeah.
No, even though he has still like that stupid comedy aspect to him, you're booking him like a freaking tank, and the only thing they need him to do is get rid of that freaking finisher, because he can't use Mark Henry's finisher.
Yeah,
you gotta find something else. Because Michael Cole wants to say the world's strongest slam every time he does it, and I hear it every time. Oh, here it is, and he wants to say it so bad, but I bet you Vince is like screaming, "I'm not the Otis Slam. It's not the world's strongest. It's the Otis Slam." So you can't say Otis Slam.
It's not the world's strongest slam because Mark Henry is now in AEW. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to call it like something else, but just give Otis. I don't know what you give him. I don't know, like
wasn't he doing the? Well, he was doing the worm at one point because
no more worm. God.
Yeah. No. I was just going back in time for him. He was doing the worm back when he was a part of Heavy Machinery, but yeah, no, we don't need to have the worm again.
Give him something like Wade Barrett's bullhammer, like a strike.
Yeah, something. I mean, the man is absolute. He is a tank. They call him the tree trunk, which is stupid, by the way. But oh, here comes the tree trunk Otis. What? No,
Trees
stop
don't
it.
move. Trees don't move.
Stop it. The tree trunk Otis. The hell was that? But yeah, you got to find something else. And plus, a power slam or like a slam like Mark Henry does is so generic for a big man.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, Big Man Vader. He did a goddamn moonsault and called it the Vader bomb.
if I see Otis do a freaking moonsault, I'm
Oh
gonna lose.
no, he will never. He would never. But I'm just saying, but Vader, he was a big man.
Yeah.
And he did a goddamn moonsault and called it the Vader bomb.
Yeah.
We saw Bam Bam Bigelow. He did a big splash off the top.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Otis is a different type of breed when it comes to a big man in this company. Because trust me, I mean, honestly, we really don't have big guys like him now in this company. Obviously, Omos is a different breed too, and trust me, we saw Omos tonight, so we're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna have fun with Omos tonight. But yeah, we don't have guys like that are as big as Otis anymore in this company. Or at least in his build. So he's a different breed. He's like a different type of monster. So you gotta treat him in that way. And they are treating him in a way for him to actually, be kind of credible. But you gotta give him something like a finisher wise too in order to make him that much more. So I don't know. Maybe they're experimenting, but figure out as time goes on.
What then we can do?
So we come back from a commercial break, and we are back with Alexa Bliss in therapy, and she says, 2 weeks ago, he called Lily imaginary, but she's not. She has always been real to her. We see photos of Alexa as a child holding the doll. She sees how Lily makes her feel. She says how Lily makes her feel, and that has always been real to her. The therapist asked how she would feel if Lily came back to her. Bliss says that she would hug her, play with her, and they could watch scary movies together. The doctor then brings out a replica doll of Lily, and Bliss then smiles at it and says, "Lily." Alexa then so then everything kind of just fades to black, and she was just kind of mesmerized that the doll was back in her life. This is just, I don't know if I'd interesting. Just trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I don't even know what to even say.
I was very speechless during this. I was looking. I didn't know what to do.
I was like, okay, so the doll's back.
Very.
And then one of the most pointless matches of the night, the entire night, The Miz versus Dominic Mysterio. I don't know what the fuck this was. I don't know why this match had to take place. But what happened during the match could lead to something interesting heading into WrestleMania. At least what I feel. This could honestly lead to something. And we've been teased about this over and over and over again, and we've obviously just kind of grown to just say, you know what, forget it. They're just never going to do it at this point. But during the match, Miz threw himself to the ground, pretending that Rey tripped him. And the referee ejected Rey Mysterio from ringside because he thought that Rey Mysterio was trying to help his son Dominic in the aid to win the match. Dominic then gets distracted, and The Miz hits him with a skull-crushing finale for the win. And Miz picked up the W here. I wanted so bad for Dominic to be mad at his father because he thought that he could not have done it by himself, and something could have happened between Dominic and Rey. I wanted so bad for something like that to happen, and it didn't happen. I don't know if this is going to be some kind of long-term thing. I don't know if we're actually going to get Rey Mysterio versus Dominic at WrestleMania. But the way everything was going down, with the way Miz was just trying to manipulate Rey to do everything to try to get his son distracted, it worked. And I don't know about you, man, but it definitely seems like now's the time if you had to do it. Rey versus Dom. You're not my dad. Yes, Josh. Yes. But yeah, man, I mean, like, honestly, with the way Miz was actually acting, and honestly, one of the people in my chat said that Miz kind of used like Eddie Guerrero tactics with like the whole lie, cheat, and steal kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, Rey versus Dom could happen, but we've been teased with this so many times at this point.
I didn't care for it when I first heard of it happening, and I still don't care for it now, just because I don't feel like Dom is ready to go against his dad, and I don't see what relevance that has besides, oh, the dad and the son are fighting. You know,
Right.
it is not. You can do something towards like a callback from back where the whole Rey and Eddie custody thing. You can go back there, but the only thing with that is the crowd right now may not remember that. The crowd that WWE caters to now, they may not have been around for Eddie. Like I was barely around. I was like 6 or 7 or something like that. So
yeah, like, he passed away in 2005. I was like 7.
Yeah. So it's just like, and I had to be 5 or 6. So it's just like now you're in a situation to where like there's kids in the crowd and they may not even understand the full relevance of what's happening. We will, and I guess some of the adults in the crowd will. But I mean, their main demographic may not fully understand what's happening here, and then you could end up in having just a dead crowd for some like crucial storytelling, and that's like super long term storytelling because that's
right.
15 years ago, you know. But it's just like I don't really see the reason to do it unless something drastic happens, and I don't see anything drastic happening unless like I don't know. It just it doesn't strike me as something I should care about at the moment. So
yeah. So I also want to bring this point up, and I want you to give your honest thoughts about this, because I talked about this in my chat when I was live for this entire show, and when we got to this match, I was talking about Dominic Mysterio and how I just feel like he has not been ready for the main roster, and pretty much ever since he kind of came up here. I just feel like he has no character. I feel like the character that he's trying to portray right now is like, oh yeah, I'm Rey Mysterio's son, and that's all he has.
It's been that since he got here, and that's
what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like he's been that way since he got here. And the thing is, I honestly think that he should have had some time in NXT to really find himself, because I don't know if he's even really found himself yet. I don't even know how old the guy is. Like,
he's like,
how old is Dominic Mysterio?
I believe. I think he's like 22. I don't think he's that much older than me.
Here, Dominic Mysterio, right here. The kid is 24 years old.
Damn, he's 24.
He doesn't know himself yet, especially in the pro wrestling business. He should have went to NXT. He should have found himself. He should have, like continued to earn his craft when it comes to his professional wrestling skills. Not saying he's bad by any means. He was trained by Rey Mysterio, obviously. He was trained by one of the greats of all time. But he needs to find himself. And you can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm Rey Mysterio's dad," and just coast off of that. I don't know about you, but that's just how I felt when it comes to that. And now, with everything going on, like you said, he may not be ready to go up against his father like that, because at the end of the day, he doesn't even know himself yet when it comes to all of this. And this is no disrespect to him. I'm just trying to figure out how he can even improve. And trust me, you can always improve. And like he can. He's obviously a sponge for the business, because he wouldn't be where he's at right now if he didn't want to learn about everything. But man, there's so much more this kid could have done in order to just, get ready for a main roster spot like this.
I mean, the best thing about it is that he has time to grow here. I still feel like he should have came in like totally apart from his dad, like with a whole like Sin Cara or Kalisto thing going on. I think if you do the whole luchador thing with him and he just finds his way as that, he can finally get away from the shadow of like his dad, because it's kind of like how when remember when Bob Orton came back around when Randy Orton first was like getting his Legend Killer stride,
right? Yep.
And Bob Orton was like around when you had like Ted DiBiase along with Ted DiBiase, and you had Dusty along with Cody. You had the dad and the son dynamic, but it was in Randy Orton's case, it was distinctly different. But
yeah,
you always had the separation of where the dad
I
was
remember
there.
when Dusty even came back for Cody during that time too.
Yeah, the dad was there, but it wasn't like they were just following the dad's footsteps. Everywhere we see Ray, we see Dom. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because that's his damn father. But at the same time, Ray's probably going to end up retiring before Dominik does, I assume. So eventually Dominik's going to be there, and I don't want him to just be floating. And the only thing he has, I beat my dad at WrestleMania. Okay.
And the thing is, would it be like a mass versus career type of match? Because at the end of the day, what the heck is that even going to bring?
Yeah, and that has to be executed the right way too, because he can say that, but like I haven't seen him cut a promo to where you can even lead up to a statement like that to where it hits hard. It's just like he's just saying it. It still hold the same relevance because it is mass versus career, but at the same time, you have to be able to like deliver a statement like that. So it's just like
You're right. We haven't even seen him on the mic in order for him to figure out if he's even good on the mic or not. So
yeah, we've only seen him in like backstage segments. So it's like now you have you got a project to work on. I just don't want them to rocket this to Dominik versus Ray, because as soon as the feud is over, Ray's gonna go his way and Dominik's gonna be just floating, And I don't want that. I think he has a lot of potential. Because I feel like he improves every time I see him in the ring. I just don't want him to just be floating,
And you could have still used the Mysterio name in NXT. You could have had him be Dominic Mysterio, but you just had to, like at least show him the ropes in NXT, get him to build a character, get him to like actually, get his mic skills up, get his in-ring skills up, have some good matches, like with the likes of, Santos Escobar, who honestly was trying to get rid of the whole Lucha Libre when the whole Legado del Fantasma first came about. And have guys like, now with everybody coming in from NXT 2.0, like Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, guys like Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano when he was there, Pete Dunne, show him the way, because they're veterans of this business too now.
Yeah.
And they could show him the way, show him how to build a character, show him how to, create stories that mean something to people. And with all of that, then you could have brought him up to the main roster after like a year and a half of work, and then if you want to just say, oh yeah, if you want to do some kind of like in passing between father and son, fine. But at least then he would not know who he is. Then he would actually have a character. Then we can see what he can do from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I know he's been kind of stagnant pretty much ever since he came up to the main roster. But that was just a talking point we had during this match in my live, and I just wanted to bring that up to you.
Yeah.
So Miz won there. Dana and Tamina were backstage just fighting with crates. And until Riddle and Chad zoom on by with the scooters, and Dana just runs away from all the chaos. Come back from commercial break, and Riddle is still scooting around, but he runs into Omos. Here we go. Riddle says Omos has beautiful eyes, and Omos is very confused. But that's what we love about you, Omos, so keep doing you. Then Gable flies past, and Riddle takes off after him. One of them have to cross the finish line right in front of the announce desk, and there's a camera set up in case of a photo finish. Kevin Owens is then coming to the ring for a new episode of the KO show. Owens says that Saturday night was a very exciting night, and it's only going to be getting more exciting from here. They're on the road to road to the most stupendous 2-night WrestleMania in history. I've gotten a lot more. Trust me, on Twitter, there's a lot more words than just stupendous for WWE and the 2-night WrestleMania that they're planning on this year. I've heard stupid. I've heard I've heard confusing.
There it is.
I've heard way more not appropriate words for the 2 nights of WrestleMania this year. So there is that. So Owen says that he will be in the Elimination Chamber match as soon as he beats Austin Theory. And he said, trust me, I will do that. So don't worry. Tonight, we have a special guest, a man who should be standing here as the Universal Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins makes his way to the ring, and he's doing his whole opera shtick, the whole that thing. Everybody does sing it though, and which is honestly really cool to see. It's really cool. Owens then thanks Rollins for being here. He asked Seth if he actually wants to sit down for this one. Seth's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not 100%. I think we should sit down for this. And Seth says that Cincinnati is the hottest city in all of the world today, so he would not miss this for the world. Owens then shows some footage from Rollins' match against Roman on Saturday night when Roman intentionally got himself disqualified. He battered Seth Rollins with a steel chair. KO says that with Roman, what Roman did was disgusting and shameful, and Reigns only did that because he could not beat Rollins. KO says that Seth should be the Universal Champion, and he is the Universal Champion of his heart. Now I was like, oh, KO, that's nice.
Oh,
look at that. Such a nice lad. Such a good boy. Rollins then laughs and says that he might not have the championship, but he did acquire something else. Owens was taken aback by this, and he's like, I wasn't expecting you to have a surprise. I wasn't expecting you to have an announcement, so what is it? he's like, well, Owens is like, well, not Owens. Rollins is like, well, that's kind of the point of a surprise, bud. That's kind of the whole point. It's like, well, I kind of wanted to be prepared, but it's whatever. What is it? And he says that he is going to have a permanent piece of real estate in the brain of Roman Reigns. He can go back there whenever he wants for a Universal title match with him, but that is SmackDown business. This is Monday Night Raw. Rollins announced that he will be inside the Elimination Chamber. Owens was taken aback by this, and he said, listen, so you just get to be in the match and I have to qualify? And Rollins says, listen, KO, I already qualified. Owens is like, when? When was all this? When? I'd love to see when, because my qualifying match is now, and I did not see you tonight on Raw. So I was like, yeah, same, Rollins, what happened? And he's like, I qualified because of Saturday. And Owens is like, wait, you qualified because you lost to Roman? He's like, yeah.
Well, technically he won. Technically he won.
Technically he did win.
So I guess
technically maybe. So that should so what Owens was trying to do to convince Rollins was he's like, listen, I want you to go back to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, because they're probably like, well, because where are they right now? Rollins is like, they're probably in the back, like drinking coffee or whatever. Like, what do you want? He's like, listen, I got a plan. All you gotta do before my match tonight against Austin Theory, you need to go to the back. I'll go with you, and we're gonna have to try to convince them so that I can just get into the Elimination Chamber, no qualifying match whatsoever. And if they don't comply, Seth walks. Seth is out. Seth is out of the chamber, and that's it. I was like, why would Seth do that? He's already in the chamber, so he doesn't need to do anything like that. Laugh left. So he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, but we'll see what happens. Austin Theory then comes back, comes to the ring, and yeah, so we have the match between Kevin Owens and Austin Theory. Match is pretty good. Kevin Owens and Austin Theory have actually great in-ring chemistry together. They tore the house down. It was a very, very good match. I don't know what happened to Loff. It kind of just obviously cut out on him, but we'll get him back possibly in just a quick moment. Theory rolls to the outside, and Owens goes after him. He goes after to slam him on the announce desk. Owens then wants to pop a powerbomb into the ring apron, but Theory then grabs the ropes and gets back inside the ring. As Owens is coming through the ropes, Austin kicks the middle rope into the not so good area of Kevin Owens. And Theory then picks Kevin up and hits him with the ATL. And he won. Theory has qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory. A very interesting choice. Very interesting choice. We all know Austin Theory is in a place of power right now. With Vince McMahon, he's kind of like being mentored by the chairman, so to speak. It's a very interesting situation that we're having right now. I thought Austin Theory was going to be the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble this year. That did not happen. But now he's in the Elimination Chamber. And with all that being said, there's so many things that they can go wrong. they can go with this. Brock Lesnar is winning that Elimination Chamber. We all know that. But when it comes to Austin Theory, I hope he's just not going to be the first one eliminated and that's it. We need to have some kind of respectable performance by Austin Theory in this chamber. Because he is the youngest person in this chamber by far. Yeah, let me see. You have Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Riddle, and AJ Styles. Yes, he is the youngest competitor in this Elimination Chamber. At the age of 24 years old, you need to have the young gun have some kind of credible performance. I would at least hope so. So we'll see what happens. Ooh. Not bad, guys. But yeah, you have to have some kind of credible performance, and I hope with all that being said, he does. Seriously. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Austin Theory beats Kevin Owens to get inside the Elimination Chamber. Another pointless match on the card. Dolph Ziggler versus Angelo Dawkins. I did not see this match. I did not see this match. That's all I really have to say. Dawkins hit a bulldog for a 2 count, but Ziggler lands a DDT for a near fall. They exchange a few times. Then Dawkins hits an underhook neck breaker for the win. That's not the entire match right there, but that is the ending sequence. And yeah, they I didn't see this match. So Angelo Dawkins wins in a singles match that we rarely see him in. But yeah, this match is pointless. So I tried to do something else around the house. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so Angelo Dawkins wins. I was very confused by all that match, but we did what we did. Riddle and Gable are riding around backstage, and Riddle grabs some cotton candy and tries to beat Gable with it. We'll see the end of the race after the break. Commercial break comes in, and Kevin Patrick and R-Truth are at ringside awaiting Chad Gable and Riddle. The two of them come racing down the ramp, and Gable trips on the ramp, and Riddle laughs at him. Riddle then slowly makes his way around ringside, very confidently, but Otis then barrels into Riddle and knocks him off his scooter. Gable then gets up and slowly wheels around the ring and wins the scooter race. Riddle is angry, and he accuses Gable of cheating, so he tells him that he wants to fight right now. Gable says, listen, there is no way an Olympian would be able to cheat like that with a 4.0 GPA. He would never cheat. Unlike Riddle and Orton last week in the spelling bee. But seeing that Riddle is a sore loser, yes, you will have a fight. But it will be against Otis. See you later, Josh. I'll talk to you soon, my man. So Otis versus Riddle when we come back from break. Before the match begins, Adam Pearce walks out and he announces that this will be an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It's Otis, it's Riddle qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. And we have Riddle going to the top rope and hitting a floating blow, floating bro, and landing on Otis's legs. Otis gets back up and sends Riddle into the corner, but Riddle hits a whisper in the wind like maneuver and hooks the legs for the 1, 2, 3. Riddle qualifies for the Elimination Chamber, which is honestly really cool. Really cool. With Riddle being in the Elimination Chamber, I really wanted Randy Orton to be a part of the chamber as well. But the matches were already confirmed for the night as AJ Styles was going to be taking on Rey Mysterio in the main event. But man, Randy Orton being in that Elimination Chamber with Riddle would have been so cool. Would have been really good to see. But Randy's just not going to be in the chamber. We see Rey and Dominik backstage and AJ Styles warming up, and as the two future Hall of Famers will face each other in the final qualifying match of the night. Oh, Loth is back. What's up, Loth?
My fault. Got a phone call.
No worries. We talked about the match between Dolph Ziggler and Angelo Dawkins. That match wasn't even really that important, right?
Not at all.
And then we did the match between Riddle and Otis in the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. An impromptu Elimination Chamber qualifying match, but Riddle got the win with a whisper in the wind like maneuver. What'd you think about that ending?
I wanted someone to reference it, and you referenced it, so I'm happy. I'm very happy because that's exactly what I thought it was going to do. It's kind of like he kind of like rolled out of it.
Yeah.
But in midair, it looked just like Jeff, and I love it. And KO doing the Swantons tonight. I know he does that now, but I like that.
KO does a beautiful Swanton bomb.
He does.
And I said that in my live too when Kevin Owens was in his match. I'm like, Kevin Owens, he does a beautiful Swanton bomb. We did talk about the Austin Theory. We did talk about Austin Theory and how he won against Kevin Owens. It was a very, very good match between those two. I think those two honestly really did tear the house down. But I just hope Austin Theory, being the youngest participant in this Elimination Chamber at only 24 years old, he has a good showing. I don't want him to be in this Elimination Chamber match and be the first one out.
I feel like he's going to get some stuff done.
Just because he's the youngest kid in here does not mean that he should just get kicked around by Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley for a little bit and then just easily get eliminated. I wanted him to be the Iron Man of the Rumble this year, but obviously that didn't happen. I just want him to, if he's going to be in this chamber, he should have a little bit of credibility. And, he qualified for the chamber for a reason.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Then it was obviously Angelo Dawkins getting the win over Dolph Ziggler. And then Riddle versus Otis in that impromptu chamber qualifying match. With Riddle actually being the winner of this match, and I know that it was already confirmed that AJ Styles would face Rey Mysterio, but I really wanted Randy Orton to be a part of this chamber somehow.
Yeah, I mean, part of me did, but I didn't see the purpose of having him in there if it really was only to advance the Riddle and Orton story, because I didn't see Randy even winning. But I mean, I guess I don't know. I think I was more invested into Randy and I mean Ray and freaking AJ at that point. So.
Yeah. And obviously the match was already made, so Randy couldn't even get into the chamber if he even wanted to. But yeah, so we had so Riddle won that, and I was like, all right, I know the match is already confirmed, but do something with Randy, please. Like have him something backstage, something happens. But yeah, so Riddle moves on into the Elimination Chamber, and then we have Bianca Belair taking on Carmella after the commercial break. And this is where the crowds kind of started to become dead.
Man,
I don't know at what point this match actually, came out at, like time wise or whatever, like what time it was when this match took place, but this was when the crowd started to become dead. And it's not Bianca's fault. It's her booking. And Carmella, it's Carmella. Nobody's really caring about the women's tag team champions right now. So,
and two things. First of all, I know there's certain matches where, like, I guess Vince is screaming in the ref's ear. I know they have times where they do impromptu like spots and stuff.
Yes.
There should be no reason if the crowd is dead that Carmella should be doing 2 rest holds. There's no reason. The crowd is murmuring, and she's just sitting on this rest hold for about 5 minutes. There's no reason for that. And Bianca's
they're dead as a doornail, and they're doing wrest holds. So Bianca's we can't get excited for wrest holds.
Yeah, Bianca's trying to hit the mat, and then the crowd's not doing it. They don't care.
She was trying to stomp, and she's trying to stomp to get the crowd like actually clapping and everything, and nothing.
They don't care. So it's just
nothing.
And the only other thing, I think you might have been in the stream when I said this, but do you think, in reference to the women's tag team titles, do you think Carmella and Zelina should just get rid of the championships, or do you want the Bella Twins to take the championships off of them and then they leave with the championships?
Well, first of all, I just want the tag titles to be gone.
I know. Which way you want to turn? Do you want Carmella to be the one to get rid of them, or do you want the Bella Twins to get rid of them?
Well, the Bella Twins are the ones that are going to be taking the titles off of Zelina and Carmella. With the Bella Twins being the tag team champions, they're not going to get rid of them. These championships are not going to they're not going to get rid of these titles for a very long time. But the thing is, there's no tag division.
Yeah,
so they need to get rid of them.
And in Nikki's Royal Rumble post, she referenced the tag titles like twice. So I mean, that could be just circumstance, but
the thing is, right now it's technically already booked that they're going to be in a tag title match.
Well, there we go.
So, like, as far as like from what of the reports that I've been hearing and everything like that, they're in a tag title match at Mania.
At Mania? Oh yeah, no, that's over with.
Like, it's gonna happen at Mania. Yeah. So, I mean, Alita's gonna be sticking around. The Bella Twins will be back during the WrestleMania season, like probably during WrestleMania month, or at least after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost but confirmed at this point that it's gonna happen.
Wow.
So, and trust me, if the Bella Twins are coming back, they're winning the titles.
Pretty much.
So, there's that we have to deal with. And then, obviously, like I said, there's no tag division. So, who's going to take the titles off the Bellas? Or can we just get rid of the titles already? It's
gotta do something.
I understand what they were trying to do with the women's tag team titles, and I do. And the thing is, when it comes, like, and it's gonna sound really wrong when I say this, but not everything needs a women's side to things. We had, obviously, men's Royal Rumble, women's Royal Rumble. That's obviously a given. You gotta give the women some type of thing like that, yes. Money in the Bank, that's okay. when it came to the King of the Ring was so special, and then all of a sudden they gave the women part of it, and they named it Queen's Crown, and we all know how that went. Not everything needs a women's side to it, and I know that sounds bad when I say it, but like, we didn't need the women's tag titles. To me, I feel like there wasn't enough women to begin with when we started the tag titles. So that was my only gripe with it. To me, I didn't really think we needed tag titles right now for the women, or at all. That might be harsh for me to say, but with the way the women's roster is right now, that only proves my point.
The only point where I'm going to disagree with you is just that I think it was like the first women's tag team champions, I believe,
were Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah, Sasha and Bayley. So they started off good.
Yeah,
they started off great actually.
Because it was inside the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, so it's like at this point, I'm in a situation to where I think there should be a women's thing for everything, just because I feel like we were. Fair way to say this.
Trust me, I love women's professional wrestling. I don't want that to get twisted. It's just at times when it came to that kind of stuff, it's just there are some things where I'm like, does it really need to be necessary?
The only reason why I think it should be necessary is because the women never really had that representation except for the Bella twins. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
So when you come down to things
they always came around with that stigma too.
Yeah. So when you come down to things like even the Funkadactyls, even though they didn't really do anything as far as a match went, they were still a women's duo that like was prominent on the show every week. So it's just like I'm always on board with stuff like that, just because I feel like we never really even fully witnessed what that could be at its like highest peak. We never fully got what we could have gotten when Sasha and Bayley won. They started off something, and then we just failed to complete it.
They had the Iconics beat Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that I'm not.
And that's not any knock between them. That they're doing great things right now in Impact, but Sasha and Bayley were not happy about that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there's certain scenarios in which they really do need the women's aspect of it, because we were going for so long. We had so much like of those dry periods where there was just nothing going on with the women's division, and they were just there. So I mean, having the belts there, it's a great idea, but it's just the fact that they destroyed all of the women's tag teams. That's the only wrong thing. The belts being there, even though I say this about every belt that WWE makes, even the freaking 24/7 belt, I don't think there's nothing wrong with the belt there. It's just the terrible execution of it, because that's not the first belt that had 24/7 rules. I think it was the Hardcore Championship that I believe had 24/7 rules too. And even though that belt came and went, it still wasn't looked at as like a piece of garbage like the 24/7 championship is. So it's just like, in aspect for the women, I do think that eventually we need to start bringing in some more women's tag teams to the show, or just retire the belt. I don't want to retire the belts, but at this point, there is no point of having Carmella and Zelina walk around with these belts that they can't defend. It's like it's a prop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to keep these belts, then you need to invest in your women's tag team division, and you need to invest in some actual, like, I know Vince doesn't even care about tag team wrestling as a whole. So that's another shot to the belt. So it's just like there's too much stuff working against it for it to work the way it should. But I'm not gonna fully push it away yet until they figure out where they want to go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the women to take any more bumps from what they already have taken over the years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
so here's how everything kind of went down for the women's tag team titles, and we will go over everything when it comes to the reigns here. Balls and Connection won it at the Elimination Chamber in 2019, and they had a 49-day title reign. 49. And they lost it at WrestleMania to the Iconics, who had a 120-day reign. They had a pretty damn good and long reign as tag team champions. Were they annoying as hell? Yes, but that's the Iconics, and that's how they were portrayed in WWE. They then lost it to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who held the championships for 62 days. So they were technically the second longest champions in that belt's history. They lost it to the Kabuki Warriors and Asuka and Kairi Sane at Hell in a Cell, and they had the championships for 171 to 172 days, depending on how you look at it. Championship recognized ending on April 4th, 2020, when the following match was aired on tape delay. So that's why it's 71 or 72. Then the Kabuki Warriors then lost to Alexa and Nikki again, so that's two-time tag team champions at WrestleMania 36. And they only really held it for 62 days or so. Bayley and Sasha won them back on a random episode of SmackDown for 96 days. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beat the Boston Hood Connection after that. Asuka and Charlotte were tag team champions. That was a random ass time.
Yeah.
And they only held it for 42 days. Nia and Shayna beat them, got it for 103. Natalya and Tamina were tag team champions, won it on SmackDown. And Nikki, A.S.H, and Rhea Ripley, we all know that happened in September of 2021. And then all of a sudden in November of 2021, it's been Carmella and Queen Zelina Vega. So, and they've held the title so far at 71 days. How do I say this? Boston and the Connection obviously were a real tag team. Bayley and Sasha, they've been together for, however long they've been. The Iconics, obviously a real tag team. Alexa and Nikki Cross were kind of just thrown together, but then all of a sudden they turned into a legit tag team when they kind of, were together for a long time. So they were good there. Kabuki Warriors, it was a god dang. It was a bad choice of wording for their tag team name and kind of how everything kind of went together for them, but they were a tag team. So at all this point right now, it was an okay type of existence for the tag titles for me at this point in time. Then you had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, who were really just thrown together, just out of circumstance.
Yeah.
That to me wasn't even really a real tag team, and they were together for a long time, and I didn't even really think of them as a legit tag team. We all know Asuka and Charlotte were never really a true tag team. They were rivals, not too long ago during that time, and then all of a sudden they're just tag team champions.
Yeah.
So there was that. Natalya and Tamina were just thrown together, and then that partnership never really reigned true. Nikki and Rhea, I never thought of them as actual tag team. Never. I just wanted something better for Rhea, and that never came to fruition.
Yeah.
And then Carmella and Zelina Vega, they've been together for however long now. So I don't know. It just went downhill you started off so good with these tag titles, and then all of a sudden you just nine total tag teams have been with the championships, and yeah, I mean, obviously, some people have had the champions once, twice, what have you, but you just went all the way downhill with those tag titles, and at the end of the day, it's WWE's fault for not really creating like a legit tag division for these things, and it's just what happens.
Yeah.
So the match between Bianca Belair and Carmella was not bad, but like Loff said, the crowd was dead mainly because of just kind of just circumstance and how everything was going down throughout the match. Carmella slings Bianca back face first into the turnbuckles, and Carmella beats Bianca down in the corner, then grabs a sleeper. Bianca tries to fight out of it, and Carmella then gets right back down and holds her down there for a very long time. This is where Dolph was pretty much saying the whole rest holds and everything.
Yeah.
So all of that was taking place. Bianca fights free and lands a suplex for a 2 count. And then they trade some shots, and Bellaire hits a kick to the face, followed by the KOD for the win. Bianca wins. Crowd was really not all that hyped up for it, even if it was Bianca Belair. This is where I'm saying that Bianca Belair is kind of, just going sour on the WWE fans right now, and it's honestly not even her fault. The booking, yes, but when Alexa comes back, when Bayley comes back, I want to be completely honest here. Bianca Belair was put into this type of a spot to the top of the card because Asuka's not here, Alexa's not here, Bayley's not here. It was just kind of out of circumstance. When those 3 women come back, I don't know about you, Off, but I feel like she's going to go right back down. And that's what sucks about all this. And I do not want that. Trust me.
I don't think she's going to go down. I think the complete opposite, only because I think that she'll have actual competition to go against. Like, I think her and Asuka can really have a feud that isn't surrounded around a championship. You know what I'm saying? You can do things with other people on the roster that aren't there at the moment, because seeing her, I think the main thing about how boring the match was even the match itself. Because if this happened at the opening match, I don't think it would have been as bad as it was. But the main aspect of why it was bad is because we used to see Bianca and Carmella. These two were feuding for months on SmackDown.
Yeah,
they were about to have a match at SummerSlam before Becky came out. So it was just
right.
We've been watching Bianca and Carmella forever. So seeing it on Raw was just like, oh, here we go again. That's the way I felt. I was like, oh my God, here we go again with this. And it was just like, Bianca's gonna win. And it's just this long drawn out match that that's predictable, and the outcome. So it's just, we just saw this months ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it again.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to like the star power of Asuka, Becky, not Becky, Bayley, and the rest of the women that are going to be coming back here, I just don't want Bianca to just fall to obscurity, because she was kind of just here out of happy circumstances, but now with everything going on, Bianca deserves way better. So we'll definitely see what happens. I just don't want her to fall to to the wasteland and just not be used in a credible way anymore. So
her or Liv needs to go back to SmackDown. I don't know which one, but one of them has to go back to SmackDown.
Just to kind of almost revitalize their careers at this point, because
Both of them were red hot on SmackDown. Now Liv Morgan's not even on the show tonight, and Bianca's just in this boring ass match with Carmella. So
right. I don't know about a superstar shakeup, but at the end of the day, I don't even know if that can even help anybody, male or woman.
Yeah.
We had the Elimination Chamber qualifying match, the main event of tonight's show. AJ Styles takes on Rey Mysterio, and man, was this a good match. It seemed like we had like 2 to 3 commercial breaks in this match, but we really only had 2. We really only had 1. This match was really good, dude.
They killed it. That was highlight of the night. That was weird. That was really, really, really good.
I mean, it's 2 future Hall of Famers, so I mean, obviously, I kind of had a feeling that Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles would be fantastic.
That ending spot, oh my goodness, was that perfect.
And just seeing it on paper, in words, AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. I mean, come on, that's a dream match right there.
Imagine if it was like 2009, like TNA AJ versus like prime IC champion Rey Mysterio. That would have been nuts. Right. Oh my god.
And this match was great too, and they still fucking delivered.
Yeah.
So the ending portion of this match, guys, was Rey Mysterio hitting a Hurricane Rana, and AJ lands on the middle rope. Rey Mysterio then actually hits a 619 and goes to the top rope for a splash, but AJ sits up and avoids it. Mysterio then applies a crucifix pin, but AJ kicks out. Styles then lifts Rey up for a Styles clash, but Rey Mysterio rolls on up into a seating senton and lands on him. So Rey then goes onto the top rope, jumps for another seating senton, but AJ rolls right through into a Styles clash for the 1, 2, 3. So clean. So beautiful in the way the execution was.
Yes.
These 2 killed it tonight. These 2 have great in-ring chemistry. They know exactly like how to pump each other up for the next move, the next spot, however you need to like get there in order to get things done. This is the definition of an amazing qualifying match for a championship opportunity to get to a possible spot at WrestleMania. This right here is the definition of how you need to be doing qualifying matches from now on.
Yeah.
In any aspect. Whether that's a Royal Rumble qualifying, whether that's a Money in the Bank qualifying, or whether that's an Elimination Chamber qualifying, heck, even a King of the Ring qualifying. This is the type of match you guys need to look back at and say, this right here is the way every single type of qualifying match should be booked.
Yeah.
It was 2 baby faces going at it. So, I mean, that right there, that was just a good way to send the crowd home happy. But at the end of the day, this right here is the epitome of a great qualifying match that everybody should be looking forward to.
Definitely. You said everything, man. This was my favorite match of the night, and 2 wrestlers that I love just out there just having a good match. It was great. That's all I want. Just qualifying matches. That's all I want.
They actually answered a lot of questions tonight when it comes to the Elimination Chamber. When we woke up this morning and we heard that the Elimination Chamber was for the WWE Championship, I don't think a lot of people were happy about it. But now when you actually look at this field, this is a pretty damn good field, and we're going to get a great Elimination Chamber match in Saudi Arabia. Now, is this Elimination Chamber to pretty much say, hey, you got to watch the Saudi Arabia show now? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be a great match. With everything going on with WrestleMania right now with Brock and Roman, we kind of know the winner already, but it should be a great match regardless. And at the end of the day, we had a great night of Monday Night Raw for qualifying matches. And whether we know the outcome or not, heading into Elimination Chamber for the WrestleMania season, this honestly could not be that bad of a match. That bad of a match come February 19th. I'm hoping. We don't know the rest of the pay-per-view yet, besides the main event segment of the show, but here's hoping.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
So, AJ Styles does pick up the win, and he is the final entrant in the Elimination Chamber for the WWE title. He joins Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle, and of course, the WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley. We then see a replay of Ronda Rousey returning to the Royal Rumble on Saturday night, and Rousey will be live on Raw next. Come back from a commercial break, and the 2022 Royal Rumble winner Ronda Rousey makes her way to the ring.
Oh.
First of all, she's just walking down to the ring, and she doesn't even seem like she wants to be there. She stares at the WrestleMania sign. She's just staring at it. She's probably staring at it with like a demon look in her eye because, hey, saying, you know, you caught on fire when I was trying to point to you. I wasn't trying to do that to you. And yes, the WrestleMania sign did catch on fire, guys, if you guys missed that. She pointed to the WrestleMania sign. The pyro went off around the WrestleMania sign like it usually does when somebody points at it. And, yeah, it sadly caught on fire. It's just bad circumstances, I know, but
yeah,
just such a weird circumstance that happened that night. But she stares at the WrestleMania sign and she says that she's been debating for a few days now who she's going to be taking on for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, Charlotte or Rebecca. She said Rebecca.
She was trying to shoot.
Yes. This is honestly just a shoot promo at that point. She has unfinished business with both of them. She says that Becky doesn't really deserve her attention because the biggest match any woman could possibly have is against her. But Becky's boring title reign does not need her. As for Charlotte, she could take her title too, but whoever she chooses needs to know that she is the baddest big time bitch. What? I'm like, okay, you're trying to kind of merge two phrases together, but it's okay. Becky Lynch comes out laughing and she says, hey, she didn't say Ronda. What the heck does she call her now?
Ronnie.
Ronnie, that's it. She said it says Ronda here in the cliff notes. So she's like, hey, she's like, Ronnie, you little weirdo. See, Ronnie, the whole Ronnie, you little weirdo thing, she's been saying this for 3 or 4 years. So I'm just like, you know what, whatever.
He's a weirdo.
Kind of, it's tone deaf to me right now at that point, saying Ronnie, you little weirdo. You're the weirdo. You turned heel when nobody wanted you to. There, I said it.
You're the weirdo.
You're the weirdo for turning heel when nobody wanted you to. So she called. So she's like, "Oh, look at you! You calling me by my government name and all that kind of stuff." And she loses her credibility when she says that she can take any title that she wants. When Becky already beaten her. Look, it doesn't. Look, she doesn't care if Ronda chooses Charlotte because that she'd understand if she just does not want to get in the ring with a real champion. Because she is the main course. Regardless, time is money, and she just wants to know who she is choosing. Ronda grabs Becky by the wrist and throws her to the ground in a judo throw. Ronda holds her wrist and says, "You'll get my answer on Friday," and just throws the microphone down near her face. So they're milking it as always.
Terrible.
Yeah.
God, was that terrible. Ronda out there, she cannot cut a promo. Becky,
you'll get my answer on Friday.
I'm like, oh my God, shut up. And then Becky came. I'm like, oh my God, Becky's gonna make this better. Nah. She's just feeding into it.
You thought that she was gonna make it better?
Yeah, I cheered when she came out. I was like, thank God.
Wow.
Because Ronda was killing me. I was like, yeah, no, I was already pissed because she came out. She comes over there and says that. I was like,
she doesn't want to be there.
I could have swore Becky was gonna make it better, and then she made it worse. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be pissed off with this.
As soon as I saw Becky on the screen, I muted the TV.
Ugh.
And then all of a sudden, people were typing in chat, Lita. I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. And all of a sudden, I actually turned on. I was like, oh shit, there is. And I unmuted the TV.
Yeah, her music came on. I was definitely surprised.
Yeah, I was shocked, dude. So Rousey leaves, and Lynch says that it's official. Ronda is afraid of big time Bex. Or maybe she is desperate to get out of Cincinnati, just like I am. Suddenly, Lita's music hits, and she comes out. I was flipping out. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So she comes out, and Lita says that this is listen, she was very rude. There's no reason for her to talk to you like that. She's like, listen, I've been saying this for years. Ronnie's just absolutely rude. Lita says, listen, she has no right to talk to the GOAT like that. She was the one that blazed the real trail for her in women's professional wrestling, and like she even saw the main event of WrestleMania. Becky says that means a lot coming from a real legend like Lita. She may, and this is her words, so what she said afterwards was kind of crazy. She may have gotten a little bit in too much trouble for wearing her thong out of her trousers, but that's besides the point. She said, I'm like, okay, Becky, thank you for that image. My God.
That's what Lita started that shit. She's doing it on 50.
She did, yes, but nobody even like Becky Lynch wanted to hear her say that. Lita says that she respects Becky for everything that she has done. She never backs down for a challenge, so she knows that she can go one-on-one with anybody. She said that the women's division has never looked this much hot right now, and pretty much any time of the women's division. I'm like, I kind of beg to differ there, Lita, but you're a legend, so I'm just gonna let you have it. How about we do this at the Elimination Chamber? Becky immediately says no, and she just tries to justify herself saying no. Lita says, listen, I thought you said you never backed down for a challenge, so what's the real reason of why you're saying no? Becky takes the bait and says that, listen, she's not scared of anybody. She's not scared of anything. If you want a match at the Elimination Chamber, you got it. Lita smiles and walks off, and Becky looks stunned that she even said that. She's like, the fuck, did I really just say that right now? Did I legitimately just say I'm actually going to face Lita for my title at the Elimination Chamber? And I'm like, yes, Becky, you did.
Yeah.
You did. And you know what? I want you to lose so badly.
She's probably not going to, but I really, really want her to.
First of all, I want it to be a good match, and I think by far this is going to be one of the best matches in Becky Lynch's title reign right now. Not only because it's Leah, but because these two women can still go. Lita looks absolutely fantastic at this stage of her career. She knows exactly what she's doing. The only reason why the twisted face looked bad was because of Charlotte. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just a shot at Charlotte, and I don't even care what anybody says. That's the only reason why those twisted faces even looked remotely as bad as they did. Lita can still go, and Lita can still do this at this stage of her career, and I cannot wait to see that match on Elimination Chamber. I said it on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I'll say it right here, right now. I don't think Becky Lynch is going to lose that championship until WrestleMania, but I just want it to be a good match, and that's all I'm hoping for.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, Becky is going to lose that title whenever she defends the shit. So I'm gonna make my prediction early that Lita wins. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna just say it. That's and Lita needs to do the damn job. That's all I want.
I'll be so happy if that happens. I will. Lita's one of the. You know Lita. I freaking love Lita. She's been one of my favorites since like forever. But we'll see. I mean, Becky even looked shocked that she even said yes to a championship match against Lita. So
she knows what she's getting into.
Yeah, so she knows what she's getting into. Amy Dumas, Lita knows exactly how she was going to be able to get Becky Lynch to pretty much do this all on herself for it. And at the end of the day, oh boy, Saudi Arabia, they always try to stack these shows. But that Elimination Chamber mixed with Lita versus Becky Lynch
should be good.
All right, you have me sold right now, WWE. Let's see what you can do on the next 5 shows. Because you still gotta do something for SmackDown. Hopefully the Intercontinental Championship is on the line there, and hopefully Sami Zayn wins it, because I can't stand Shinsuke anymore. Because he's still the #1 contender, and people are saying that match is not going to happen until WrestleMania. I'm like, no, you got to have that match happen way before WrestleMania. I don't care how you do it, but you got to have it before Mania.
Do something.
It's just something. Please, just get the title off of it. I don't know what they're doing with the tag titles right now, SmackDown or Raw. We'll figure that out. I don't know if Charlotte's going to be defending inside the Elimination Chamber, or she'll have a one-on-one, or the second Elimination Chamber will be to determine the #1 contender for whatever championship Ronda does not pick. I don't know what's happening, but we do know 2 matches are happening in Saudi Arabia, and it's Lita versus Becky and the WWE title Elimination Chamber. This is not a bad start so far, but they need to continue the momentum that they got right now, because people are honestly intrigued right now, and you don't want people to lose that intrigue. So let's figure out what happens.
Only time will tell now.
I want to see if there's anything coming out of the show, though. Raw Women's Championship match set for Elimination Chamber. Brock Lesnar locks down WrestleMania and Elimination Chamber matches. Qualifying set for Raw tonight. No, it doesn't. Well, Mojo Rawley looks to be returning to professional wrestling. That's interesting. I don't know where, but looks like Mojo Rawley's coming back. AEW Rampage actually went to 600,000 viewers this week off. On Friday. Good? For Rampage, yes.
Oh, okay.
So when it came to last week, they had 594. January 14th, 526. January 7th, 588. They go in between the 400s to 500,000. Because on December 31st, they had 453. And December 31st, that's New Year's Eve. So nobody's watching wrestling on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But and then on Christmas Day it was 589. So that cracking 600,000 for Rampage is honestly really good. But we'll see that SmackDown actually went up in viewership from last week, which is kind of surprising. But they had a 2.217 mil for the Blue brand on the Royal Rumble Go Home show. From last week, it was a 2.136. So they got like maybe 70 to 80,000 viewers up. So SmackDown could be doing something. No like actual real stories here coming out of Monday Night Raw or anywhere else, but obviously for Tuesday's talk, we can talk more Rumble, talk Elimination Chamber, what happens. We'll figure out what we can do for Tuesday.
I got an idea. It's going to be very interactive.
Okay.
So I'm going to text it to you.
Okay.
When we get done soon.
We'll definitely talk about that. We will talk to you guys very, very soon. Tuesday's talk tomorrow. Wednesday Night Dynamite on Wednesday. Technically, Tuesday's talk tonight. Wednesday tomorrow for Dynamite. Thursday, that's our day off, and Friday, Rampage and SmackDown. And it's another week. So we will definitely see you guys then. Have a good night. Well, do you guys have anything left to say before we get the hell out of here?
I'm up too late and I have to get to class at 6:30 tomorrow. And it is currently 1:30. So that means I have approximately 5 hours to sleep. And
sorry about that.
No, it's cool. I made the decision, so now I got to live with it. So, it's just thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna lay down now and hope to God that when I wake up, I can.
You can wake up for class.
Yeah, I got class and work, so it's gonna be very tough. So I mean,
you got another podcast episode to open tonight.
Yeah. I'm editing one, and I think I got paid today too.
Look at that. Nice.
Great day.
Good day today. You got paid and a good Raw. That's insane.
Y'all be safe though, and see y'all tomorrow. I think tomorrow's gonna be fun. If I can think about this the right way, I think tomorrow's gonna be fun. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Subscribe, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow us on all the TikTok links down in the description. Follow us on social media, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow for Tuesday's talk. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Have a good night. We the one.